Hey guys, Zen here, and Year 7 has officially started for Rainbow Six Siege. Demon Veil is here, and it is easily one of the most game-defining updates in Siege's history, and there are so many changes that you'll feel the moment you start the game up. And so for this video, we're going over 9 of the most impactful and important updates that you can expect here in Year 7 Season 1. In this video, there's also 2 major buffs that didn't really get any press, and some hidden interactions that change up the meta in some surprising ways. And if you're aware of them, it could net you some easy MMR. But just before we begin, this video is sponsored by Ubisoft, and Demon Veil has a few extra goodies to know about. For starters, Team Deathmatch is the brand new permanent mode that's here for Year 7 Season 1, and it offers a more casual way to play Siege. Azami is the new defender that brings the Kiba barrier gadget. With the flick of her wrist, she presents a kunai knife, but inside are canisters that unleash a full-on barricade once deployed. We'll also be getting the brand new Emerald Plains map, which will be the first new map in Siege after 3 years, and it'll be coming later in the season. And they also reintroduced the Year Pass, and so the Year 7 Pass will be available until March 28th. It offers a full year of content, including 14-day early access to each Year 7 operator and exclusive cosmetics you'll only find in the Year 7 Pass. And so guys, click the link in the description to buy now, and thanks to Ubisoft for sponsoring the video. Alright, so this video begins with this operator. Valkyrie is one of the most useful and oppressive operators on defense because of her incredible black eye cams. On attack, if you've ever wondered just how they knew you were there and how they got the upper hand at just the right moment, more often than not, it's because they were watching your every step with a well-placed black eye camera. Now, by far, her deadliest utility is the ability to throw these cams outside and get intel before any attacker even makes it inside the map. It's almost half the reason you choose this operator, and so a while back, the devs detailed an update that made it so that after 10 seconds outside, the camera goes blank, meaning you could no longer see the feed, and they'd essentially be useless unless you went and retrieved them. It was tested for a bit and then shelved, until now. This long-awaited update to Valk is now live with Demon Veil, and so for those die-hard Valk players, throwing a camera outside means just a few short seconds of the feed, and then they go completely blank. Overall, it doesn't actually mean the strat is totally destroyed, but I think you'll have to work much faster and with much more finesse to actually see a benefit of throwing a cam outside. Because unless you're brave enough to go and get it, it's like throwing a diamond out in the mud. Like, those cams are worth too much to waste, so use wisely. Next up is an update I'm almost certain you've not heard about, and hey, it's for one of the most underrated operators in the game, but Kali has gotten a bit of a sleeper buff here. Now, when you think of Blackbeard using his shield on his main rifle, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For me, it's that you're instantly punished for putting it on, because yes, it will protect against at least one fatal headshot, but you're instantly slowed, and you spend the majority of the round nerfed at the knees once that rifle shield goes up. The weird similarity with Kali is that her CSRX sniper doubles as her main weapon and gadget, and she too has always experienced this reduction in movement speed with the sniper out. You guys know that I main Kali on attack, and I'm always for more people playing her because she's unbelievably good. And so this new buff, it's chef's kiss. They've completely removed the movement penalty from Kali while her sniper is out, which means she feels like any other operator with a main assault weapon. Now, if you're one of the loyal few who plays this operator, you know this is the perfect update, and if you haven't spent much time with her, well, now she's faster, Thatcher has a pretty hardcore rework on the way, so she'll be more important, and now that all 1X can be equipped to all weapons, her secondary just got a massive update as well. So there's so many reasons to dive in. Clunky movement penalties are the target reason I don't play an operator, because it's vital to feel in full control, and it's always an aspect of Kali that's tough to work around, and I think this change will be a major upgrade for her. Now, moving on, we have to talk about Goyo, and to demonstrate why this is so important, I'm gonna pop his updated gadget and literally let it burn out while we discuss. Roll it. This rework to Goyo is so unbelievably strong, I'm genuinely nervous about how dominant it'll make this operator. Look at how long this fire burns. It just burns and burns and burns. The area of effect is larger, and now he has the freedom to literally put them anywhere. This is peak performance for this operator, and then when you consider that he has a vector with nearly any sight he wants, we're literally staring a Goyo meta in the face. Now, I won't lie, I've not used Goyo too much because I always felt that the canisters would explode when the attacker says so, rather than when a defender takes advantage of it. Because the shields were usually easily destroyed by attackers just because of how exposed they were, it made it hard to detonate them to the full advantage of a defender. But now that the attackers pretty much have to drone them out and then deal with them, it gives more of that control back to the defender that's able to detonate them when it's the best time to. And you saw it. The flame lasts plenty long enough to prevent a push or to burn up any careless attacker standing about. And so I think for Year 7, you'll be seeing a lot more Goyo, and he might even be able to dethrone Smoke for best best area denial with his weaponry and excellent rework here. But next up is Azami, and for this video, I wanted to share a few tips because by now you understand that she has the Kiba barrier and it's a well-crafted gadget with an incredible design. But there are some very important things to consider when you add her to your roster, and I'll start with a big misunderstanding about her. She's not the defender that needs to patch every hole that the attackers make, and in some cases, that could actually work to the benefit of the attackers. Instead, think of Azami as a way to reorganize the site and make it nearly impossible for attack to execute on their strategy. A fundamental problem over the lifespan of Siege has been that once something works, it becomes the meta. For instance, on Cafe, most times the attackers clear the hatches to enter the third floor objective. Or on Oregon, a Zofia or Ashe heads below and takes out the bandit batteries, and then the breachers open up the bedroom wall or attic to start pushing in. These are tried and true strats you'll see daily in ranked, and up until now, there's not been much to change that. Well, Azami changes that, and she changes every single site she's played on because she's able to literally put up new walls and create all new sight lines that have never been seen before. I say this because I've seen people just throw up Kiba barriers as a counter to Ace opening up a wall or Habana opening up a hatch. And yes, that is viable, but my counter would be to manipulate those openings and make it so that it wasn't even worth it to open in the first place. My more obvious tip is that the Kiba always deploys in a flat circular direction, meaning if you throw it on a wall wanting it to stick out and create a shield for you, it will actually deploy flat onto the wall. You'll need to throw it on a surface protruding from the wall for it to extend into a barrier to cover you. My last tip as you get familiar with this operator is to remember that drone holes are one of the best ways to use this gadget. Unless attack wants to waste an explosive, having a Kiba seal off a popular drone hole is a huge benefit to defense with no perks at all for attack. Remember that Kiba barriers don't discriminate and they can just as easily benefit attack, which brings us nicely into our next topic. Maverick gets a stealth buff with the introduction of Azami. So everyone thought that Azami was the perfect counter to Maverick because now once he starts making holes, Azami can throw out her gadget on top of it and negate all of Maverick's hard work. And yes, that interaction exists. But at the same time, Maverick's biggest counters are also the holes he makes because defense is able to shoot through them and get an easy kill. And so what actually happens is that Azami seals off the holes and protects Maverick, making it easier for him to finish making a hole. All it is after that is to just break down the Kiba with a grenade or melee, and it's almost a risk-free task for Maverick. And so yes, this can go both ways, but at least for Maverick, there is some benefit to an operator that makes his job a little more difficult because at the same time, she's also making it a little safer. Next up, there are some nerfs to a couple defenders. The first is Melusi, and nearly every season she becomes a focus of attention, and it's because the Banshee is one of the best gadgets on defense. So in Demon Veil, they've made it so that the Banshee now opens up faster, exposing its weak point quicker, which obviously means you'll be able to destroy it easier as an attacker. At this point, almost every aspect of Melusi has changed to compensate for her super strong gadget. She traded out the T5 for the MP5 with Oryx. The Banshee used to be bulletproof, and now it can be easily shot out, and it used to have a wider area, and that too has also been decreased. I'm hoping that this can be the final version of Melusi, at least for the remainder of year 7, because any more nerfs, and I think it'll start to really hurt her overall presence, and I think what she does is crucial in today's meta. The other operator is Thunderbird, and they've made it so that the Kona station will only heal players below 100%. So yes, ultimately this is a nerf, because before it was always that if you approached a station, it would heal you and give you health no matter what. Pretty much as soon as Thunder placed one, even during the prep phase, you get a little extra health if you're simply running by or in the area. I could imagine it meant that sometimes attackers were faced with overhealed defenders even before they've entered the building, and that's a little unfair. And so I personally feel like this is how it should have probably always worked, and to be clear, you still will be overhealed if your health is at, say, 99, because you'll get the same amount of health as you always have. It just won't automatically overheal you if you're already at a full 100% health. Moving on, we're talking about attacker repick, because this one change is the very start of the switch into an attacker favored meta. And even though I think it's a good change, and I think it'll help balance out the overly oppressive defender meta, there are some things you can do to keep an advantage on defense. Let's discuss. So attacker repick is simple. You get to repick your attacker during the prep phase. So once you've gathered the intel on defense and you've seen who they're bringing, you can go back and choose a new attacker to better suit the situation. It's something that has been desperately needed to better balance out the scales between the two sides, because up until this point, defense really is the only side with a clear plan and strategy in place, where attack has always had to bring the most universal operators and improvise on the fly. But with repick, this also means that attack now always brings the perfect operators to counteract everything defense is doing. So what's the answer to an attack that's already set up to foil every plan you have. You have to focus on prep phase drones more than any other time in the meta. And that may sound pretty obvious, but operators like Mute, Mozzie, and Azami are more important than ever now, because if they can't see what you're doing, they can't react to what you have going on. And of course, repick stops after the prep phase, and so you have to block them out as much as possible. This mechanic does just purely give attack a perk they've never had before. It benefits defense in no way, but you have the counter of focusing on drones and keeping them guessing with ops like Mute and Mozzie, and it might also change how you play them as a result. Next up, TDM. Rainbow Six Siege finally has Team Deathmatch as a core mode, and in my experience, it works flawlessly. It's a great way to warm up your aim before you head into ranked, and I think most people will find it less sweaty and easy to jump in and out of. And against the rest of Siege, there are some huge differences. First, of course, there's respawns. So once you're taken out, you respawn and the cycle continues. There's also winners and losers. You must be the first team to 75 kills to win, or whoever has the most kills at the end of 5 minutes wins. You can also use multiple of the same operator. So a team of 5 Mozzie or 5 Capitao is just fine here, and at any time you can choose a different operator and swap them in. Although shield operators are not available here. Everyone has frags, flashes, and impacts available to choose from, and as of now, it's only available on 3 maps: Theme Park, Villa, and Favela. I've got to say, at least for Favela, it's actually helped me better learn the map. Maybe not from a full tactical experience, but I actually understand the layout better because in ranked, it's always banned, and when I do get a match, it's not really a learning experience. Here though, you can easily navigate the maps, and if you're unfamiliar or when they add new maps, it'll be easier to step into Team Deathmatch and figure things out. It's a great mode, and it works for what it is, and it's a more relaxed way to get started with Siege before you sweat it up in ranked. And finally, a new feature for you guys on console is the match replay. It's pretty straightforward, so we'll keep it brief, but match replay allows you to watch your most recent matches and see the game from every perspective in the lobby. It's a very handy feature, and is also a way to check if someone was sus or if they're amazing, and you can see how they play and learn from it. Up until this point, it's only been available on PC, but the devs have opened it up on console, and it's been a long time coming. Cheers. And guys, that's the video. Just a quick reminder that Year 7 Season 1 is the start of a huge next year for Rainbow Six Siege. They've added TDM, a more casual way to play Siege, Azami, the new defender with the Kiba barrier, and Emerald Plains, a new map in just over 3 years that'll launch later this season. And if you want to have it all and be prepared all year long, you can pick up the Year 7 Pass, which is available until March 28th. It includes 14-day early access to each Year 7 operator and exclusive cosmetics you'll only see in the Year 7 Pass. And so guys, click the link in the description to buy now. And again, thanks to Ubisoft for sponsoring the video. Guys, I'll see you in the next one. Hey, I'm out.